We're back here on the platform this evening speaking with Professor Rudolph Tinker, and he is back from the United States, and he pays us a visit every now and then. It's a pleasure to have him here today. VAT, let's shift from COB and education.
Now, before VAT was introduced, I, in a way, contacted the IMF. And I got this initial document that was proposed to the Bahamas, and I read it in its entirety. And I saw many recommendations that was made to the government concerning that. Okay, because it was only a recommendation now. It was not forced down the throat of the Bahamian government that they had to do this. Because if you talk to Minister Alcides himself, which I put the question to him, even though I already knew the answer, he said it was a recommendation. Now, I had made a suggestion to the minister, and I said this on many radio stations. I said, at any given day, I think there's a total of roughly, according to this to this implementation document and this recommendation, said there's $989 billion in offshore assets in this country. At any day in the Bahamas, $989 billion, all right? I said if the government would have just taxed that 0.5%, they could raise roughly $450 million. Okay? Your national debt, gone. And if they would tax it 1%, they would get $980 million. All right? And, but the government didn't decide to go that route because Americans are used to paying taxes. Because if these Americans would bring that money that they have in these offshore assets back to the U.S., do you know what the government charges you for capital gain tax in the United States? 28%. Believe me, you would want to pay the 1%.
Professor Tinker.
All right? But that's not my take on VAT, but go ahead.
Let Professor Tinker. Offshore banks in the Bahamas, most of them, if not all, they don't want Americans to be banking with them. Too much hassle.
Right. By the government.
They want the Americans out because the American government itself is bringing too much pressure to bear on offshore banks in the Bahamas when they delve into these American accounts in the Bahamas.
Right.
So it's problematic to have the Americans here in the first place.
Americans or Europeans pay taxes?
No, in the first place.
Yeah.
And that is why they have shifted and they are looking to South America, places like Brazil. I have a nephew who is in the business, and that is why he is now fluent in Portuguese and Spanish, because the shift is South America, okay?
Right.
And if the government of the Bahamas were to tax these people as you are suggesting, you would have flight capital out of the Bahamas.
I doubt it.
They would just leave.
I doubt it.
They would go to Cayman, the Isle of Man. They would go to a whole lot of other jurisdictions in the world because of the cost of operating in the Bahamas.
I doubt it. Some would leave, but the majority would stay because to pay 0.5% is no big deal. But that's not my.
They would go to a place where they're not paying anything.
All the countries in the Caribbean region and many countries in South America, Central America right now are facing physical challenges, physical financial challenges, and they're looking for ways to tap. And the last thing you should tap is the poor people. I mean, minimum wage is $175 a week, okay? And the private sector, the government sector is $210. How much more do you want to tax?
Well, you move from that financial services thing now.
No. I'm still talking about the financial services. I'm just saying, in the entire Caribbean now, Central America, South America, even Europe, the EU, they're all faced with physical monetary challenges.
Yes.
Ways to find money.
Yes.
Italy right now is taxing their people like crazy.
Yes.
But people are saying, but why are you not taxing the rich?
What the government of the Bahamas is seeking to do is to bring about new products in the financial services sector. And the initiative in China the other day to bring the Chinese currency into the Bahamas so that we can use this jurisdiction so that people can use the Chinese currency here. That is a way of expanding the financial services sector and introducing new products in the Bahamas. And that is the way to go, it seems.
I agree. Even though China has undervalued their currency for so long, and the United States is telling them, you need to increase your currency to the right value.
Right.
And China has continued to undervalue that currency for exportation purposes.
Right. But my point is, rather than taxing the business that you have now, putting another burden on them, what the government of the Bahamas is doing is a very important thing, and it's advisable to develop new products, like the Smart Fund that has been developed, like foundations that has been developed, and other products for the financial services sector.
But you put value-added tax on the people. And value-added tax, the way I've looked at the list and the way they're taxing here for the value-added tax, I find the taxes is a little too much because it is on just about everything.
But Mr. Tinker, Mr. Tinker, you live in the United States of America.
Right?
You live in the United States.
Let's make some comparisons.
You live in the United States.
Right.
A Bahamian walks into Walgreens.
Right.
And he buys some products.
He pays 6%.
He pays a sales tax.
Right, sales tax, yes.
He has absolutely no problem with paying the sales tax.
Right.
He goes down to Neiman Marcus and he buys a nice tie or a nice jacket like this.
Right.
And he pays a tax.
He pays a tax. I agree. But
so he has no problem. He has no problem paying the tax in the United States of America.
Right. This same Bahamian.
But the same Bahamian. You were saying that 7.5% in the Bahamas is too high. When the government of the Bahamas has reduced the duty on a whole range of goods in the Bahamas. And there are very few people who are complaining about that, you know.
And the consumer is not seeing this reduction as yet.
I said there are very few people who are complaining about that in this Bahamas now. I know you just came off a plane and you came on the show, right? But when I do the talk show, there are very few Bahamians who are complaining about that. You know why they're not complaining? Because they know that the government has a fiscal problem and they want better roads. They want teachers to be paid better. They want better hospitals and professionals to be paid. And they understand that the government has been running a deficit of between $400 and $500 million a year. And they know that if that deficit is not reduced, we are going to be borrowing. And they know that the parity of our dollar is going to be at risk.
But the problem is,
that's why they're not complaining.
I agree with that. But the problem is, the government did not say they will take the VAT money and do what you're saying. They didn't say that.
Well, what you think they're going to do with the VAT money?
It's not what I think is what they said. The government said they will take the money and pay down the interest on the debt. That's what they said.
But that is the sensible thing to do.
What you said, paying teachers, fixing roads, and all this other stuff.
But if they pay down the debt,
then they can have some money left over.
They would have money to do some other things.
We would hope that's the case.
Because the government needs to increase revenue.
I agree with that.
Okay?
I agree with that. But here's the problem.
The government has been, the revenue there's been a shortfall in revenue for years.
Here's the problem I have with
and we have been running $500 million, up to $500 million in deficit every year. And when they go back to the parliament for a new budget, they have to borrow $500 million so that, come on, man, you can't continue to do that.
Right, but all right, let me give some data here. Here's the problem I have with that. The same Bahamian in the United States, right? If he goes to an ATM machine in the United States, and let's say he takes some money out, he pays a fee because he doesn't have the same financial institution. So he pays like $2 to take the money out. He's not charged VAT on that. Here, they're charging you VAT if you go to the ATM, from your own financial institution, let's say First Caribbean, and you swipe your card, your First Caribbean card, you take out $20, now it's $21, but it's $21 $1.07.
It's a service, yes.
No, but
It's a service.
why would you charge VAT on that?
It's a service.
Man, that's that
It's a service.
you hitting people everywhere.
You are living in a country where the national budget is what, $1 trillion?
Right.
Huh? You've come back to a small developing country where our national budget is barely $2 billion. All right, you see the difference.
But look, the government is not balancing their checkbook.
The national budget of the Bahamas is smaller than the budget of Dade County East.
Oh, I agree. But
and we are running 28, 29 inhabited islands. Okay, with 28 airports,
right,
with schools in all of these islands. All right, the government needs the revenue.
I agree with the revenue, but what I'm saying at the same time, okay, we have import duties that people would pay when they come in. That was just one tax you paid just for bringing stuff. How do you go from just taxing one area just for imports to taxing in just about every sector? I could see a sales tax when you're going into the grocery stores, on property transactions. But man, you even getting into taxing using the ATM machine?
Yes. Yes.
Well, if that's the case, then the financial institutions here need to get rid of those fees.
Yes.
Because I don't think if you go in let's say First Caribbean, and you go to take $20 out from behind the counter, they charging you a service fee on that. I think a lot of these fees at these financial institutions here, when I downloaded the schedule of fees, are 300 times more than you would find in the United States or you would find in Canada. I don't know why they do it on the backs of the poor people. The people are not making any money here. They say our GDP per capita here is $33,000. Show me the average Bahamian making $33,000 a year when minimum wage is $175. We're cheating ourselves.
The minimum wage, we agree, has to increase.
Has to increase.
No question.
Has to. But what do you think is a good number?
Has to increase.
What do you think is a good number?
I just believe that it has to increase.
Has to.
Okay. I believe that the government is seriously considering increasing the minimum wage. No doubt about it. But we have to. We cannot be tax averse in the Bahamas.
I agree. But I really think when they ushered out this plan January 1st.
We have a rich country and a poor government.
I agree.
Inefficient. A rich country.
Inefficient.
No, not inefficient. A rich country and a poor government.
The
government doesn't have the financial resources to provide the services that it wishes to provide in the Bahamas.
But
there are a whole lot of things that the government wishes to do. Let me give you an example.
Please.
The government, for instance, should be running various programs on radio and television on prevention, meaning this, to prevent catastrophic illnesses in the country.
Right.
On prevention.
Right.
Preventative programs.
Right.
Government can't afford it. We can't afford it.
Right.
We should be running programs teaching people on how to improve their lifestyle so that they do not develop these non-communicable diseases like hypertension and diabetes and cancers and all the rest of it. And I said to the government, let's do something such. Right. Oh yes, that is a good idea. But finding the resources to do it is another question.
I cannot allow the government to tell a population that I don't have it. Because the answer is,
that is why
find it.
That is why they are finding it with VAT, which you have a problem with.
VAT is being hit in too many sectors, and I hope that with the little money let me give you an example of what I've been discovering so far.
Yes.
This, in my mind, is the way that I hope VAT is implemented here and should work. I am a wholesaler. You're a middleman. This Globe is a retailer. When I import a product in, let's say I import this product in for 90 cents at a wholesale rate. Because I'm the wholesaler, I should be VAT exempt. Because, let me finish, because I'm not the end user. I then sell this item to you for 95 cents. Doesn't have VAT in it, it just has a 5% markup for me to make my profit. You're the middleman, you had 95 cents. You then sell this product to the Globe here at $1, because you have a 5% markup on that 95 cents. That Globe guy there then sells it to the consumer for $1.75.
It doesn't go like that.
No, it doesn't go like that. I'm charging you VAT. You're charging him VAT, and he's charging the customer VAT. By the time the customer gets it, it's at 21%.
No, that is wrong.
Well, explain it to me. Explain it to me. Explain it to me.
You are dead wrong.
No, I'm dead right, because I've seen the prices.
There are some instances where people are not able to charge VAT.
No, let's go to the process where they're not adding.
Wait. My mother runs a little convenience store.
She's exempt.
Hold on. She's exempt. Doesn't charge VAT.
Right.
Okay?
Right. But I don't want to talk about her.
No. But there are a whole lot of people like her.
I want to talk about Super Value.
But Super Value is charging that. But the Super Value is importing goods at a lower rate than they used to.
Exactly.
In a whole range of items.
Exactly. But what I'm showing is, I don't want to talk about the people that are not paying VAT, because I think that was a dumb move. Everyone should have been registered if you're in a business, because you're going to cause too much chaos by having certain groups unregistered. But that's a difference of opinion. But what I'm saying is here, for the people that are charging VAT, if they go to a middleman to buy something, this middleman buys it from a wholesaler, I'm charging you VAT, you're charging the retailer VAT, and the retailer is charging the customer VAT. So a product that would have cost $1.07 is now $1.21. I've been in places, I've seen sodas that are $1.15. So which they used to sell originally for $1. How in the world are these retail units that are selling to the final customer have